Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing? Welcome to Block 9 Podcast Live. Not sure where Mike is, but we'll carry on with the show. He's probably padding on his nose or something, or doing some...
There he is.
There he is. Hello, Carl.
Sorry, yeah. So had a major. So last week we had a power blip. Virgin went down, and then today the lights flickered as we were about to go live.
Yeah, mine did.
Anyway,
Mine did as well. How weird.
So yeah, it must be someone's trying to pull our plug. Anyway, so evening everybody. Wow, what a tough past week or so it has been. Muslich's tenure came hard and fast. 3 home games back to back with only 1 point though from 9. Argyle firmly rooted to the bottom of the league with 2 of the worst performances at home park that I can remember, and even I think some of you that have been going for a lot longer than me probably also the same. So the players had to turn up yesterday under huge pressure and show that they do have that aggression, that intensity, that bravery and heart. The key ingredients that Muslich said in his viral speech. And of course, balls. So today, they brought all of that to the table and some. After taking the lead, Sunderland managed a drawback level, and moments later we went 2-1 down. And we're suddenly thinking, oh no, not again, Argyle. Well, not this team, not yesterday. Anyway, bravery and heart were needed, along with 4 late substitutions from Muslich. And when a superb ball came in from Sorinola into the box, Better of all people had striker instincts to go after the deflected ball and smash it into the roof of the net to earn Argyle, I have to say, a deserved point and send the Green Army, including Harvey using this as well, home happy. So a very tough and challenging period for everybody associated with the club. But can we build then on this? Because that could be a massive shift change. With our wallet filled with pieces of 8, our wits about us, I don't think we'll be sitting out the rest of this window. So can we bring in some great additions to the squad, even if we have to borrow some loan players before the window closes? Time will tell. So let me just switch to a different view. Oh, my God. I want to go, Marcus, to you. Sort of high emotions yesterday, wasn't it? But it was good to see the players dig deep and come back.
Something we hadn't seen for a long time. Passion, fight, everything we've been asking for. It was a completely different performance than the one against Burnley. So, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like you said, we've got to build on it now.
Yeah, it's just, Gavin, I was so emotionally charged. And even first half, I was trying to keep myself busy because I was a bit edgy. Second half, I tried to sit in front of this screen and watch the bulk of it. And I was like trying to absorb stuff, thinking, I need to think about that for the pod, etc. And I just couldn't. I was just so gritted to determined to sort of, come on, boys, get a goal back. And we did.
I think it was a really sound performance all round. We sat up a little bit lower, I think, in a block. Clearly, the 2 days in Newcastle, so thanks to the Geordie Army for lending us your training grounds. We clearly had a better identity. I think the back 4 in the midfield were a lot more solidified. I think everyone has to take their hat off to a certain Jordan Houghton, who was instrumental in protecting the back 4. And I know this pod, other pods, people on Twitter have been saying it for months that we need a Houghton to sit in front of the back 4, protect Randall. All those things happened really well. He got some good blocks in. He made some short passes. He's never going to be the best world's beater, but what he does exceptionally well. And I thought actually the top 3 defended as well as the back 3. Bundu and Wright were instrumental in closing down, and Hardy did what Hardy does. So yeah, it was. I wasn't that emotional actually through it. I'd kind of already given up. I'd given up already, so I was like, well, let's see what we got here. It wasn't towards the end that my neighbours learnt a few new words. Some of them were which was pretty good. But I think all round you can see, and I know it's only been 10, 12 days now Muslich has been in. Clearly, that identity, if he can get more and more training ground time, some new additions in, and more importantly, the squad that played have some heart and some desire, we haven't got a problem, have we? If we'd had this at the beginning of the year, we'd be sitting probably where Oxford are now.
Yeah, no, totally agree. We'll give up now. Gavin's just done a complete summary of the game. We'll move on. No, it's fine.
See you next week. Bye.
Absolutely. Andy, it was definitely sort of, I think, in the chats, on the social channels, a lot of people get intense, sort of, trying to give a bit of banter out there back and forth. But, it is only a game. I had started to resign myself to it because, I think mentally that's a good way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy, it certainly is testing everybody, wasn't it?
Oh, just roller coaster stuff, isn't it? You go 1-0 up away from home, and you think, yeah, we're going to go on and win this now. When did we last win away from home, apart from Brentford in the league? Middlesbrough, that was it last season, wasn't it?
Last April,
Rotherham.
Rotherham, yeah. And anyway, you I've forgotten. It's just so long ago. But you think, yeah, we're 1-0 up, and all of a sudden it's like one each. You think, oh, come on, just 1 minute later, it's one each. And then 2-1, you think, oh no, the game's going there. The fans were getting behind Sunderland. And then the last minute of the game, I kid you not, I was in my kitchen, and I got my sort of future daughter-in-law in there with me, and I had the earphones on, just wiping the dog dead just back from the walk. I scored, and Drew Savage on Radio Devon. He just went mad, and I went mad with him. And I shouted at the top of my voice, and my daughter-in-law thought, "What's going on here?" But yeah, it was a real rollercoaster, wasn't it? And fair play to the lads. Every single one of them stood up for themselves yesterday and gave a good account.
Yeah, absolutely. And Harvey, again, you were up there. You travelled up on Friday, stayed overnight, caused a bit of havoc in Newcastle, and then that area. And then, of course, you didn't. And then, you had the game. What was it like? Being there again. Oh, power blip.
Again.
It was. Yeah, I stayed up in Newcastle on the Friday night, and I spoke to a few Geordies and all that up there, and they all they wanted was for an Argyle to get a point. I spoke to a few lads that were Argyle fans that live up there, and they were saying the same. It was surreal. It was surreal to be. It felt as if the atmosphere, the fans were together with the players, come full time, and from like we've just said about when we went 2-1 down, we sort of, to me especially, I had that belief. I had that belief that we went 1-0 up. We haven't bad all game. We've took the game to them. It was sort of a bit like Sheffield United in a way. Like we didn't sit and accept what we're going to have. We gave them a game. But when that better goal went in, it was a surreal feeling, and it got me through the rest of the night being stuck in Sunderland till midnight. Yeah.
And Carl, quick before we sort of get into the nitty gritty, any words from yourself on that?
Yeah, I'm just so glad Harvey's managed to come home with seeing us, having a battling performance on a point with all the miles he does, especially going to Sunderland. I couldn't have done that, so I'm glad he's come back happy. Just generally, there's a lot better from us. I mean, there's night and day difference between the Burnley game and yesterday. I think we've all resigned ourselves. It's going to be a struggle, but as long as we go down fighting, I think that's all we really want from this club. I think throw in a towel like we did against Burnley. As long as we give it our all for the remaining games, and who knows if we can pick up a couple of results in the next few home games, anything's possible. But it's just nice to see we've got a bit of fight again.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Sean says there on the comments, even as Sean reckon this result could kick-start our season. So, fingers crossed for that. Right, let me switch to the slide deck. So last week, for those that have joined us and even everybody that's on with us now, appreciate you coming in again. And please retweet, share the live. It all helps. Look, last week I had no passion, no application, no fight, and no clue to try and give the PAFC, sort of some context. Now, changed it. I thought, why not? So had passion, we had application, we had fight, and we had a clue. So, I mean, this was, a massive, massive game, I think, for everybody, but certainly for Mueslich, with the sort of a lot of fans already, sort of jumping on things already, questioning the tactics in that game, certainly against QPR and just the abysmal performance against Burnley. so it was big for him. But yesterday he did do a bit of a shuffle around in the lineups. Let me just move us just off to the bottom here. Oh, hang on, let me just get that down so you can all see that a bit better. So effectively, we had a few players sort of coming in, obviously with Wright, with Bundu, getting a start, Sorinola as well, which was great to see, and Houghton, so a few changes, Harvey, from that lineup. So what was your initial thoughts when that came out before kickoff?
I think it was a collective as Argyle fans. I could probably say that from the Burnley game, that second half, them 3 substitutions we brought on at half time, I think deserved a start. And that's what he's done there with Bundu, Callum Wright, and Sorinola. I'm pretty sure they was the 3 that come on at half time. We sort of know with the back 4. I didn't expect Mumba to start with the talks of leaving. And I thought he did have a really good game. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation on his head, and we've seen what's happened with Whittaker. Old news now, so I guess we're not going to speak about it. But for him to still be able to put in performances is a credit to him. And I was happy that Houghton started. I did want Houghton to start that. Houghton and Randall midfield. I think Houghton offers a lot of experience, and he calms down that midfield and is quite composed. And with Hardy as well, although it was an offside goal, I do think that's going to boost his confidence that tad bit, and Tajani coming back is a positive.
Yeah, definitely. And Carl, Hazard in goal, I did sort of make the point in the chat, will he, Gavin and I spoke about it actually on the way back from Stoke, will he try a different goalkeeper away to home? But, Hazard, coming in and, pulled off, a couple of really good saves, a really full stretch one, which in fairness probably would have been a bit more difficult for Grimshaw to get with the height difference.
Oh, hands down. It was a surprise to see Hazard back in, but much needed, because for me, he's our number 1. He's a lot better keeper all round. And that shot he pulled off again, that's what I like about Hazard. He's got that 6'6" reach. He's going to be strong on longer shots, and he's going to be able to get to them, which Grimshaw would struggle with. And again, just the way he plays, slowing down when it's needed as well. The time wasting, which every goalkeeper does it, and it does rile up the away fans, which is the home fans, which is great. But yeah, he put in another impressive performance. And going forward, I think we got to stick with Hazard, and then the rest of the squad, it was a really, really battling performance. Houghton coming in obviously made Randall perform a lot better. I know I got a bit not personal with Randall against Burnley, but he has been poor for a number of weeks. But I think with Houghton next to him, he can get a bit more confidence in his game and kind of perform like he did last season when he was playing with Houghton. Because with JB, I understand he's doing a lot more work with JB, because JB's struggling a lot personally himself. So it's good to see him having a good performance, and it's great to see Bundu and Wright back in again. Players that know and want to fight for the club. Sorinola as well, another battling performance. I think Hardy, like Harvey said, that goal will give him some confidence, especially with TJ now kind of breathing down his neck. So yeah, on to West Brom now.
Yeah, I think it was, and I don't know why you can't see me. I was just trying to play with the layouts. There we go. Me and Marcus were hiding away, still getting used to some of these layouts with the slides. But yeah, look, I think for me, it's one of those where Hardy up front, just on that note, didn't really do much in the game, sort of struggled really. I mean, we absorbed a lot of pressure in that half, and when you felt though, as I was watching it, you felt though that there were going to be chances that would come. I mean, I did put a bet on for us to win 1-0 initially, but that when we had those chances and that header, etc., and that wasn't taken as well as it should have done, for me, that was like, oh, Andy, is sort of Hardy just struggling with his injury, fitness? What's the deal there? Go on, what's your thoughts?
I still don't think he's match fit. He's struggled recently with injury, isn't it? That shoulder injury, wasn't it? And I don't think you recover from that too quickly without wanting to put yourself about. It's a physical game, and I just think he's a little bit lightweight out there. I think that would have been an ideal game for Bundu to start in, or even Tajani to start in, and for him to come on. But to have him up there, trying his blooming hardest, and I mean, he did run around quite a bit yesterday and try really, really hard. But there's a case of getting on the end of the things. And to be fair to him, he did get on the end of that for his goal. He missed the glance and header though, which was, it's not his full strength. I think someone like Tijani or Bundy would have got that header in the net. But,
I think you would normally not say, Gavin, would you, that if a player's not match fit, they're not going to be in the squad. But with the the issues that we've got, what's your thoughts on him? Is he got a niggling injury still?
No, I think he's match fit. He's got no confidence. Everyone knows. I pass him probably 2 or 3 times a week because he lives around the corner, well, literally across the road from me. That he's a confidence man, and even in his own demeanour, say hello in Tesco, he's a confidence man. He's got no confidence, and when he's going well, he puts everything away, and he tries a lot. When he's not going well, he doesn't do very well, and we've had these streaks ever since he's come from Blackpool, a long time ago, haven't we? Of hot runs of form, loads of goals, and then he goes missing for 3 months, and then he comes back again. This time round, unfortunately, because of manager changes and because of formation changes and his injuries and blah, blah, blah. And we've had Gray, who's probably a better player, and we've had Obafemi, who probably isn't, but I think a lot of the fans view to be a better player. He hasn't had a run in the team. He's had injuries, but I think it just boils down to pure confidence. A Hardy in form puts that away, that glancing header, 9 times out of 10. And he didn't even, his body language, he didn't even look like he was that confident to put it away. And I hope his wife and kids had their windows shut, because I had a couple of words to say out of my window at the time, because that was just the problem is when you're bottom of the league, right, and you miss sitters like that, doesn't help things, does it? Because you don't get another one for a long while, especially from us away from home, and you've got to take those chances. But I thought his work rate was great. I don't think I'd love to see his stats. I don't know anyone on the panel's got his work rate stats, how many distances he covered, his sprint rate, and all that type of stuff. But I can't see it being much different. I think it's just confidence.
Yeah, no, it would be probably on FOTMob if someone wants to look it up. This one from Andy. Evening, Andy. Does Sissoko fit into this setup? We will come on to that later. I've got a slide about him and Obafemi that we can pick on specifically. I mean, Marcus, sort of Houghton, Poulsen actually was one that was given a lot of stick. Every player played shocking in that Burnley game. But Poulsen's one of those that in the last few games has really come in, taken charge in that centre-back role, and actually, I'd argue, has been pretty much the one that's been out there as the leader, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to Randall. But I mean, he was brilliant again, as were most of them in that. It was a back three, really, wasn't it? Remember, obviously, coming back in, tucking back in. But Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think certain players, the fans seem to pick on, so that it affects their confidence, because no matter whatever Ogbeta does, it never seems to be right. Poulsen's the same. Hardy's had a lot of stick. A lot of the players are a lack of confidence, but they quite quickly turn on the certain players. Like what Carl said, certain players get away with it, like Randall, because being a homegrown lad. So he gets more confidence, but sometimes JB plays like a lunatic, and you need someone calm like Houghton around him.
Yeah. Gavin, what was it that Randall said? Sorry, Marcus, for over. I'm just going to say, Gavin, in the hospitality, what was it Randall said after the Burnley game?
He was close to tears. Well, I think he was actually in tears when he got up on the stage. And bless, I'm so glad it was Gaz up there and no one else on the stage, because if it had been, a microphone for hire, they would have completely faffed it. Because he's an ex-pro, he took him through it really well. He just said it was embarrassing. He put his hand up and said, I was well below par. I've had a stinker. The team have had a stinker. We weren't good enough. We didn't try hard enough. And relayed the messages from Mislan and said, we need to be much better and we need to be much braver and blah, blah, blah. And, we're going to try and put it right when we go to Sunderland. That's all he could say. But, I mean, he got a lot of very good claps and shouts and come on rounds. In fact, the funniest thing ever was, obviously, the guy's distraught. He's got other media duties to do. He's in the bin. As he comes off the stage, there's about 4 people going, can you just do a FaceTime with me to my wife and can I have a photo? It's like, fucking read the room, Gav.
Yeah, did you have to ask him to FaceTime your wife, Gav?
I was like, she just put the kids to bed, Bram. Just give me a minute. She'll be here in a minute. Don't worry. Honestly, it was horrific. When he comes off like that, poor guy's in the bin and everyone's trying to stop him for selfies. It's like, just let him go.
Yeah, you could see he was emotional at the end when he was, coming off the pitch. I mean, Andy, you would have known if you'd have stayed. But the
I was at home by then, mate.
But it was bloody cold. But no, look, I think the thing at the end of that, sort of in that first half, is we kept our shape. We didn't panic. We were very patient. Everybody seemed to sort of know their job and what they needed to do. Like we said, the players coming in, Bundu, Wright, Houghton, all did their job really yesterday. And I've never felt confident over the last few games, but I sort of felt we might get something as in a point, which obviously we did out of this one. And the fact to get 2 goals, and those goals come in the second half. I'll go to the goal highlight reel in a second. That was massive because the goal, that Hardy got out of, just perseverance and a wicked deflection. But thanks to the goal line technology, it was awarded. And then 4 minutes or whatever it was later, I did note it down somewhere here, only a few minutes later, and it was like, what's just happened? And then you suddenly, said at the start, hands on your head going, oh, not again. And then 10 minutes or so after that, then they go and get a second one. And, they were constantly pressuring Argyle as well, leading up to that second. I mean, Harvey, at the ground, were you considering all going, oh, let's sod this for a game of soldiers. Let's head back to the pub.
No. Well, like I said, I was confident. I think if we flash back to last year where we lost 3-1 up there, and again it was the same where we took the lead just before half time. Hardy conveniently again the scorer, and then we went to lose 3-1. So when as soon as we score and we're electric, and to be fair, their first goal was a very good finish. Sort of roots us back to reality. We're sort of right. We've still got a game on our hands. We're not the best thing since sliced bread and whatnot. And when that second goal went in, a thought to me, like I said, I still had belief, but then a thought to me also came where it was this could flip here. This could we've seen it before. It could end 5, it could end 6, and unfortunately we did the opposite and fought back.
Yeah, no, that's it's just those great experiences, isn't
Mike,
it? Yeah, go on.
Do you think Pleggy could have done better for the first goal?
He was almost out-muscled when the player out-muscled him and just got his foot to it from.
Not trying to be.
Let's go to the goals
Jameson,
reel
ginger,
now.
and lime.
Let's sort of
Refreshingly simple.
play that. This is a Sky Sports video, hence I will just let their advert run. So this Rans does so well picking up the ball here and just persevering with it. I like this. It was all like that all game. There we go. God. I was screaming, stop screaming, stop screaming when that was going on. Yeah, that's fine too.
There was slight confusion.
I like Hardy's reaction as well.
Go on, say again.
I like Hardy's reaction. He just runs off with his hands in the air and it's like relief.
There was confusion in the ground as well.
Yeah, that's his goal. That's Hardy's goal. That's not an own goal.
The really interesting thing for me was Paulson's reaction, where he got everyone round Hardy and was like pointing at Hardy, saying, he's back. It was really good leadership.
Here we go. So, yeah, you can see Plegasuelo sort of ends up throwing him on the deck, or tries to, after the ball comes off his boot. And if I can, pause it, he's in front of him, which is not great for the cross, obviously. And he just holds him back and then just flicks it on. So he could have done better, Gavin, yes.
Yeah, he could have.
Yes, I think he has to go all in across him, doesn't he? He just got
and there's that second.
I think the second goal was a little bit more disappointing because he's had time to control it and touch it down in the box. While his body's around. So that was.
Oh, look at the green shirts in front.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I'll pause it after he strikes it, but they're all like grouped together. So sort of. Look at them all. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mental.
Is that 4 at least? Yeah. Well.
5. Well, 5
so,
right was in front of that.
And as someone said earlier on, it was a great strike and a great finish. And that was on 61 minutes, if I've got that right. 73 minutes. 61 was the equaliser after we scored on 59 and then 73. So, and that, to be fair, they were giving us a lot of pressure after getting that first, and rightly so, because we know Argyle are fragile, from going conceding a goal. I don't know how big a difference us getting the first goal was to the way that this game ended up, because normally we would go a goal down and away, and then that's it, we crumble. So let's roll the BT again. So they replay that.
And
so this is where
great
Sorinola
strike by
does
TJ
really
there
well
as well.
not to panic here.
All in, the ball in superb. Little flick by JB.
Yeah, Sorino's cross was class, in fairness.
Yeah. And obviously, Harvey, you were at the opposite end, so I can imagine it took a few minutes to see the players run off before acknowledging that had gone in. But this is Ogbeta does so well to actually preempt the fact that I can get to this. Yeah,
That little ball there.
He is as sweet as a nut, doesn't he, as well? It's as sweet as a nut on his left peg.
yeah.
Hit it on the
And it's
volley,
great
it's
anticipation. I don't know if how many of you have seen his post-match interview, and he said he anticipated it. It's quite a great footballing knowledge as a footballer to be able to anticipate, even having low confidence.
Yeah, and I think, Harvey, it's a good point. I've got the shorter versions, the free ones, not to sort of rip Argyle off, because I won't do that with the full videos. But I have got the short clips that they put out of Muselich and Ogbeta's post match. But yeah, I think this is sometimes we've sort of seen some of the Argyle players not take a shot or not take the risk and gamble or whatever, and Ogbeta definitely did that, and fair play, because he has taken a lot of stick from who was that dropped out? He's taken a lot of stick recently. Marcus has dropped out. Let me just see if he's back in. There he is. It's just, I think, for me, like, as long as my foundations are still okay, because like I said, my son said the whole house shook when that goal went in. So yeah, the substitutions, and just to note that, I think that was the big point for me, Andy. I'll go to Carl, actually. Is he there? Yeah, I can see him now. It shuffled the board around a bit. But Carl, yeah, the substitutions. I mean, obviously we saw Beidou come on, for Hardy, and he had that chat. I posted it on X, and I wish I recorded it. I haven't seen a segment of it, but there was a superb ball put into the box by Pukac. And all you do is you sort of see him like jump, like as if he's trying to get his body out the way of the ball in. And I'm sat there going, what did you just do? Now, either he heard a shout from someone, Carl, or something else was just going on in his head that he just didn't have the instinct to go and just stick something on the ball.
That's a good point. I didn't think about if anyone did give a shout behind him. That could have potentially what happened, and that's why he moved out the way. But if it wasn't that, then I don't understand why he's completely not even try to get anywhere near the ball. So I'm hoping it's what you just said there, that someone gave a shout behind
it's
him.
It's a very unusual thing to try and move out the way of it, unless you've had a call. Because normally football's mentality, whether offside, onside, is I'll get a touch on this and I'll be on the score sheet.
And the first thing you want to do is put a shot off. Yeah, very strange.
It seemed harder to actually shift his body out of the way than it would have been just to get something on
connect on it. Yeah. But yeah, cracking ball in by Puchka yet again. His left foot's incredible, and I just love his passion. I love his dedication already. The fight he gives us, he's been a good signing for us so far. I would love, if I know we've got an option to buy him, whether he would still be tempted if we go down. But that's the type of player that you've got to build a team around. He's at a good age. He's got international experience. He's a fighter. It's what we need. Brilliant.
He wouldn't answer it the other day, would he?
So again.
He wouldn't answer it the other day, so I don't think he would sign for us if we went down.
He was quite vague.
I don't know, because on his interview, one thing, why did you come to us? Because I was wanted. Same as Beidou, because I was wanted. He's the club he's at. He's barely got a sniff, and I think he's one of those that wants to be a crowd favourite, wants to be centre of attention, and wants to be loved by the fans. Now, he'll get that in abundance. He is Stuart Pearce, isn't he, of Poland.
Yeah, no, it's good, and I think he's gonna. Don't forget, he's also gonna want to show himself, because, as he said in his interview, that he said, as soon as a championship club came calling for me, that's it. I made the decision immediately. We must have been, respectfully, I mean this, the only one that did. for him to jump straight on board. So he's going to want to put in a shift because, there'll be Carl, I agree with you. It'd be great to sort of keep him on and build around him. But if another club can see that he's got potential, then obviously that he's going to want to play in the Championship, isn't he? And then we got sort of, and I think the game was flowing. Trying to remember it with all the emotion. The game, we were starting to get a bit more of the game when the substitution was made for Bailey for Hardy. And then, obviously, he made 4 subs. Now, we know that Ogbeta, as he says in his post-match, you'll see in a minute, that obviously Pleggy took a knock, so he came on for him. But there was 4 subs, and I can't remember who it was, but someone in the group went, why make the subs now? That sort of we're starting to sort of win the ball. But that was, I think it was brave from Muslic, because I think, it was like, well, we could either go out fighting or just accept the fact that, we might lose this 2-1, but we still would have had a good all-round performance. So JB coming on, Al-Haj coming on, Tijani, and like I said, Ogbeta, that's quite a lot to bring on and not potentially disrupt the flow. But it did lead to us getting that equaliser at the end, and every one of them coming in and playing a part for it, Harvey.
Yeah, I think especially something that I've personally criticised managers for it is the substitutions, timings, and who bringing on. And I thought Music did get it near to spot on, possibly a little bit earlier after the second goal. But as you see in there, the goals at 73 and 76. The only difference I would have made as soon as that goal goes in, shift the momentum and get the subs on. But yeah, it was nice seeing Tijani and again, the only thing is Sissoko, whether he's going to see match time and in an Argyle shirt again this season is questionable.
Yeah, well, we will come on to that in a minute. So if I just move to the next slide. So obviously we know who got the man of the match, and he's on my next slide, and he's in this slide as well, sorry. But I felt Randall, after the emotional, mental, difficult challenges for everybody that game, but being a Plymouth lad, like Gavin, you said, in the hospitality, man of the match interview, he, for me, really showed a lot more control, a lot more composure. When he goes on those little runs, that's what led to Hardy's goal. They tend to lead to an end product when he does that. But Houghton coming in, after being out for so long, Poulsen, I said again, after answering the critics, from just that one game, has come back in and delivered. And as you said, Gavin, once Hardy scored, he got everybody around Hardy. He is the one that, Adam Randell is growing as a player, as a captain, for your hometown club. But Poulsen is just there, also assisting and getting everybody sorted and organised. And obviously Sorinola, who I was equally gutted to see get dropped, but he's just sat there. He's not moaned, not complained, as far as we know. And then he's come straight back in and delivered what was the overall man of the match from the club. I mean, Andy, those 4 players, it's when you're singling people out, you sort of don't want to, but they were standouts in that game yesterday.
Yeah, they were absolutely. And I've said it in our chat before about Houghton. I'm not his biggest fan, but I just thought he was immense yesterday alongside Randall, and given that sort of that steady in the ship, that bit of calmness around him when JB might sort of panic or lose the ball, or whatever. Poulsen, he just seems to have something about him in that right position, doesn't he? And it's, as you said, he's sort of bringing the players over to celebrate with Hardy, to give him that confidence boost. Brilliant. Sorinola, fantastic. He always gives 100%. These are the sort of players that you want in your team, because these are the players that are playing for the badge right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll just go on to that slide, just to single him out. But yeah, he was the nominated. To be fair, all four of those on that previous slide were the nominees, and that's not, we haven't just copied that. I just put in there who really did stand out for me. But I do love this little lad. And again, when we sit there, and we'll come on to transfers in a minute, and we go on about, we need to spend millions of pounds on this player, or loads of money on that player to get someone quality in. It's great when you pick up these frees, that they just get out there and they want to prove to other people that they can play the game and play it well, because this is absolutely a tough league. So yeah, let's go on to these two. So I'm going to go, Gavin, to you. Sissoko and Obafemi. I haven't heard too much on if anybody knows what is going on with Obafemi. We know Sissoko's on the bench. Obafemi isn't. What's your thoughts on these two?
I think we signed Obafemi, and the genuine underlying feedback was that he can be a little temperamental as a human being. I think Muslic has now taken an absolute wanker policy, excuse my French, and I think he just doesn't fit in that narrative. And I think he will, there's rumours when Rooney was around, and I had a rant this week, and I'll hold my hands up because I did it at 6 o'clock in the morning, having hardly any sleep with the kids, and my spelling of prima donna was interesting. Getting to the groove, but there we go. I'll hold my hands up and say what a knob. But the underlying fact is, I think we've been too soft for too long. Rooney seemed to run the club like as one of the lads. Schumacher's done that, we know as well. I think Lowe was a bit more disciplinarian, and I think it's enabled someone like him to go out on the piss on a Wednesday night, come in stinking of booze on a Thursday or whatever it was, be late for training. And I just think Muslic is an absolute consummate professional, and he ain't going to take it. So therefore, we've got to keep him for the rest of the year and pay his 10 grand a week wages. So be it. But he will not feature in a match day 11. That's been very obvious since the time he's walked through the door. Sissoko, I think we had the chat going to Stoke. As soon as Muslic knew we were going to be a manager, I looked at his stats and where he played and was like, I feared for Mutika, I feared for Bundu, and I feared for Sissoko, because where are these wingers going to play? And I think someone said in the chat, I think it was Andy, said, we need to bring him on. He'd have lost us the game on Saturday in 10 minutes. He'd have tried to take on too many. He wouldn't have dragged back having to lose the ball. He'd have gone bump, 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 and we'd have scored, and everyone would have gone, oh my God, Sissoko, what have you done?
Yeah, I think Gavin, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because everybody, we've all seen, and I can understand Andy for saying it, but I sort of was in agreement. I don't think he would have been right, but because he's had some big moments in games in those early matches, when we were playing that different style from the back, that suits him. You're almost like, he has got that quality about him, but there's definitely something there that he's lacking. I mean, Front football, he is phenomenal. He's one of the best attacking wingers in the league. But when you're on low confidence, and let's be honest, guys, the passing still isn't that crisp, is it? It's not exactly perfectly in front of someone, blah, blah, blah. He'll get the ball. It'll be a crappy pass. He'll try and do a flick, lose the ball. They'll double mark him as soon as he come on the field. And then you'll just watch him sort of jog back aimlessly and watch him score. That's not Muslic's way. It's certainly not our way. And I think that's the problem. If he was getting back and making sliding tackles and working his nuts off the ball, I think it would be much, much better. But I don't think he's got that in him. I might be wrong, but that's how I think it looks.
Yeah, he's a flair player, isn't he?
He's what Rooney called Al Hajj, a luxury player.
Yeah, I think Marcus. I think the sort of the potential on these sort of players going down the line. I mean, obviously Sissoko, there might, we know we've got first dibs on him. If we want to sign him, that could be currently in discussions. There could be issues there. He's making the bench, obviously. So is he just making up the numbers though? In part of that, I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, Cercle Bruges did play with wingers, but they were wingers that worked hard. When they lose the ball, they track back, high intensity. So Sissoko even though he's skillful, how many times have we said before, pass it? He tried to do that extra dribble and he lost it. He's quite a greedy player, and I don't think Music will put up with that.
Yeah.
And that one, Obafemi, we had this no knobhead rules. He seemed to got through the net because he was coming in late and everything. I don't understand why he hasn't been sent back.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it needs a caveat. Like, this is all still rumors, or is any of that true? I just want to, not that we're in fear of getting sued, but it's just the fact that we don't necessarily 100% know. What I think, going back to Gavin's point on the way Muslich is handling everything, is that I don't think with him he will stand for that sort of bringing that sort of player in. If there's an ounce of doubt of the player's commitment, where he's been and what he gets up to, that's not what Muslich wants. He's been so clear about wanting players to come in that are prepared to, give it all on the pitch and fight for the badge, and I think from that side, those sort of players, I hope, will not slip through the net under him. So Harvey, you got any thoughts on these two or anything you're hearing?
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know whether it might just be me thinking this, but obviously, like Marcus has said, with the wingers having to be at high intensity tracking back, I do think it would be silly of Argyle to sign Sissoko, because as we said, he's a luxury player, he's a flair player. If we turn him into a hard-working, up-and-down workhorse, I think that's going to ruin his credibility of the player he is. That player, I think it was nice while it lasted, and all we can do is wish him well. And in terms for Opafemi, I do think he's an average player in my eyes. I think he doesn't really fit the system with Argyle, and I think although Hardy's had a lot of stick this year and hasn't really performed to his job effectively, I do prefer Hardy, and now Tajani's back. I think Tajani offers a lot more than what Opafemi can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do. There was something else I wanted to touch on. Is it on my next slide? Just the match stats. It was the interview, so I'll play them after this. So I always just like to bring up the match stats overall, so as we can see high possession from them there on 69 versus our 31. Expected goals, higher rate for us, for those that like their XGs. Total shots, 12 to them, 7 to us. 5 on target, 2 for us. Well, what does that say? Although it was sort of Hardy's one wasn't really a shot on target, was it? It sort of flicked off the keeper. Yeah, rolled in. So big chances, definitely Hardy's one with that missed header. So that was disappointing, as we've alluded to. Yeah, and obviously you can see the sort of goal shot map of Obafemi's there. Let me run with these interviews, these post-match from Muslich and Ogbeta next. So
now we've just caught you after done a little bit of running after the game here. That's why you're so out of breath. But I imagine it was a fairly breathless moment about 10 minutes ago or so when you scored the equaliser. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a bit surreal, to be honest. Came on because Pleggy got a little nick, so it was like unexpected. Yeah. Came on and then just had to work, and thankfully I saw Darko go for it, and then I just anticipated and was able to put it in the back of the net. But it all comes from the work that the boys put in before me. They worked so hard out of possession to keep us in the game, keep the score low, and allowed us to get back in the game, and I think it's what we deserve, so really, really good.
Yeah, I was good.
He's literally on fire, isn't he?
Yeah, for the short.
At this point, I often ask the head coach to sum that game up. That's quite impossible to do in a short span of time, but that was a breathless kind of second half in some ways.
It was a proof of life, and that was the most important. If you get beaten like we did also a couple of days ago against Burnley, it takes a lot of courage then to come here and try to perform. And I said also in the halftime against Burnley, it takes a lot of guts and courage to get out and finish the game. And if we can do this will be a step forward for us. And in the end it was.
Yeah, so
I could listen to that man for hours. Really good.
He's got he's got a voice that would work well on a podcast.
It just reminds me of Jose, like the younger years of Jose, like the way he talks and like kind of how players respect him, like for his opinions and stuff.
Well, what
reminds me of Marty.
What oozes out of him though is confidence in his own ability, to sort of control and manage a situation. And I think rather than standing there and going, I didn't know, he's very clear on the message that he delivers. There's no second guessing himself or anything like that, which I love. Evening to Harold Mersland, if I pronounced that right. So from a Norwegian Argyle fan. So evening to you. Welcome to the live. So yeah, let me switch back to where's the presentation? There we go. What have I got on the next slide? All smiles post match. That was leading up to the videos, and then the post that he did at the end as well for Harvey and all the other fellow travelling Green Army. So have a safe trip home and thank you for your support. It's a game we all love. So
got to spot Harvey in that
I'm
crowd.
looking now. I'm on
you're just being dragged out by that steward.
I can see him at the back there on the right hand side at the back there. He's eating a sandwich. A jam sandwich, I think, as well.
I would be in the third block about halfway up. So if anyone can see me.
It was a pretty good view. It was a pretty good view from way back up there.
Yeah. Well, last year as well, it was a bit unfortunate because it was foggy. So you couldn't really see much in the clouds. So this year I had the luxury of actually being able to see the whole game. It was amazing.
Awesome. And then I thought Tom Kirk from Pilgrim's podcast shared this one. I don't know who the guys are, but these, we
watch along.
Been tempting myself to do these watch alongs, but I love that, and I do have the video that Voodoo shared as well.
In the penalty area.
I'll come to that now.
Are we not wanting to win this game or
in the
what?
background.
It's going to drop now.
Oh, you've got to get there.
Bang home by Albetter.
You've got to get there. The ball's bounced.
You've
You've got to command
in
your
the
foot.
top corner.
You've got
In the 90th minute, Nathaniel Renola.
His cat's just got kicked hard.
I mean, we've suffered a lot. I mean, look at these guys. I know it's a race for the title, but they're up at the top end. But it just goes to show the pressures are just as immense trying to fight for that automatic as it is to try and fight for your life to stay in the league. So I thought that was worth sharing. So thanks, Voodoo, for putting that one on. Before we'll do this one. So West Bromwich Albion up next at home. So after these quick run of home games with Sunderland in between. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're away. So that's their away from down there. Played 15, won 4, drawn 7, lost 4. But when you look at their last set of 6 games there, they're not getting wins away. So, there's hope for us. They smashed, obviously, Portsmouth under Tony Mowbray's new management after losing their first game, beat Portsmouth 5-0. Oh, dear. Where are we going with this one, Andy?
5-1, Mike. 5-1.
Sorry.
Come on.
Facts right, Mike.
We have got a Pompey fan on TikTok, so he would have corrected me. Absolutely.
5-1.
Yeah, generally watching.
So go on, Andy. What are we thinking then for Saturday? And a full week of training, effectively.
If we can show that determination and guts that we showed yesterday, then I think we can get something out of this game. I'm not saying we're going to go and win it because our home form at the minute is not brilliant. But who's to say that Music hasn't... it's got them fired up for this. I know that we're not carrying one particular player who's now...
No, we got something for that in a second.
So we're not carrying that person anymore. So there's going to be an extra team player in there, maybe Callum Wright, I don't know.
Oh, God, I forgot about that effort.
Class.
So I think we'll get something from the game. I personally don't think we'll win, but I think we might draw again.
No, it's a tough one. Gavin, just to sort of add to that, I did actually, we were driving back from town earlier and I saw him and his girlfriend just walking back to the car in the Barbican. But that effort he had where he managed to breach the defence and, keeper got a touch to it, which got it onto the post. It was a fantastic ball by Randall. I incorrectly said Houghton, on X earlier. But that was just, I was gutted for him.
Do you know what I'm really impressed with? It's that we've hardly seen all year, and Harvey's watched every second of every game live. So correct me if I'm speaking rubbish off, but how many times this year have you seen a midfielder run beyond the striker and have a gilt edge one-on-one chance with the goalkeeper? Because I can't remember one. And it's like you watch every other team and you'll get the 10 or the 2 10s or the other false 9. bolting past, or a central attacking midfielder bolting past the striker, and you go, oh wow, look at that, they're playing intrinsically. Ours, that's the first time I can remember it all year.
Yeah.
So brilliant, well done, well done, Callum. It's taken us till the end of January nearly to have a midfielder run beyond the striker and have a shot on goal. But I thought we need more of that, right? We just need more attacking intent when we're going forward.
Gambles.
How many times you sit at home park just go forward and everyone's
Didn't he
sitting
do the
back
same at
waiting for us
Stoke,
to lose the
didn't he?
ball? Get beyond them, bloody strike the ball, man.
Yeah.
I think he did the same at Stoke, didn't he? Was he away? It was on one away game recently.
Yeah, it was Stoke.
That right did jig past the, was it Stoke? And again, he just tried to curve it inside the post, but it's.
I think that is a credit to Callum Wright, though, because Callum Wright is a player. I think even when you bring him on, which we have done in the past at home park, he never fails to run like a headless chicken and just be a nuisance. Which to some Championship players, especially the higher quality, which have played Premier League, which, in all fairness, you don't expect that. You don't expect a player to just charge at you to left way, right way, and I think it's going to pay off in a minute.
Yeah, no, it is. So, Gavin, what to the Saturday game and against West Brom? I mean, they've got to go out and deliver at home after that previous performance.
Yeah, the first thing, I know we're going to have transfer talk in a minute, but first thing first, you'd hope there'd be some fresh bodies.
Yeah,
right,
yes,
in the squad,
has to be.
right. So that gives me a little bit of new player bounce, a bit more energy around the club. Our players, played with Halo, bless him, who can, has got one leg at the minute. Paulson, Pusac, all these guys that have worked their nuts off in the last month, who've barely had a second off the pitch, give them time to have a couple of days off. So, and also tactically, it looked like in 48-hour boot camp at Newcastle, we had a game plan that nullified pretty much Sunderland. So I'd be reasonably hopeful, actually, that West Brom aren't the best team away. They've got some real class in the ranks, don't get me wrong. And they were, I think, earlier in the season, a bit of a false dawn, thinking they were going to be up around the sort of first 1, 2, 3. They've dropped back since. But Mowbray will get them going. Don't worry about that. They're going to come down here and they're going to give it a bloody good go, which I think will help us.
Yeah.
But we've got to pack the midfield. I think how it hopefully starts, and we've got to get that sort of person protecting that back four or back three. If we do that, we've got a good chance of getting something, because we've got players that can come on. One thing that did like on Saturday was, look, I spoke to my brother, look at the bench. We had Beidou, we had El Hadj, we had Sissoko, we had JB. There were some real class on the bench, and you think, God, we'd have given our left arm for this bench 3-4 weeks ago. So we go into it with confidence, don't we? What else have we got to lose? We're bottom.
Yeah,
right?
no, exactly. And Carl, I think the big thing again could be who gets that first goal. You're absolutely right. Any team that's coming down the home park now, it's going to be all about get at them, get at Argyle. Where you've got a squad that's got quality finishing. I mean, the Burnley goals were just superb. And it's like, so that's where Argyle just have to be a bit more cautious and resilient to start, just to sort of make sure that they can take that chance and get that first goal.
Yeah, I think we just need to be tight and compact and just keep it calm for the first 10-15 minutes. It's no good going all rash and kind of losing a goal early on, which we've done quite a lot at home this season. We've conceded early and it's just got worse from that. But yeah, agree with what Gavin said. We need to, obviously with a free week, it would give some players some rest. Obviously we should see some players coming in, I hope, because this is the last week really where we can only get players in. So I think it's the 3rd of February the window closes, isn't it?
3rd, Monday.
3rd of February, yeah. So we
Monday
haven't got much time left, and we do need quite a few new faces. So I'd imagine we get some through the door this week. Hopefully get some into the squad, ready for Saturday, just to give the team a bit of the boost, knowing that there's some players pushing the current players for their places. So that will give, hopefully, a better performance from a lot of them, knowing there's new players kind of watching and wanting to take their shirts off their backs. So yeah, I'm positive against West Brom. I think we'll give it a good go. I think that result at Sunderland will give the players a massive confidence boost. And who knows, if we can pick up 3 points, we'll be on 25. Derby in honking form, they've lost the last 5. They're dropped
they have.
Stone. Yeah. I know Portsmouth have turned it around. But you just don't know. One result, one win might just give us that confidence. It gave QPR and Sheffield Wednesday that confidence last season in the same position, and they did it. It might just take 3 points to really, give it
The
a
one
good
thing
go.
I'll say is how many false dawns have we had this season?
Yes, yeah.
That away trip to Sheffield United, that's the turning point.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, we're getting a cricket score against us again. These guys have now got to realise that the fan base and the manager are not going to take Nambi Pambi, Prima, Prima, Donna, performances. Sod off. And I think the changeman clear-out's been good, and it looks like it's been positive. And the old Argyle guard, and Houghton being, I think, one of those, one of those, and Harv, chasing yourself around the country in League One. You saw that spirit week in, week out, where we just didn't take no for an answer. The amount of times we went behind, what was it, 20 odd points in the season, winning positions from being behind. That's the spirit we need. And those guys, that DNA, if you like, has been missing. And now we've got someone who's going to insist on that as a manager, and he's the coaching staff he brings with him. One thing I will say, this fitness guy's got a big challenge, but it seems like the intensity. People were blowing off their backsides, weren't they? 25 minutes in on Saturday. I don't know if you noticed it from the stands off, but from the TV, you could see people like really taking deep breaths because they've been forced. Their level of intensity to be forced is so high. Next season, pre-season's going to be hell for this lot.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
But that fitness coach got this team, the fittest team in Belgium by a long way. Yeah. They don't realise how hard they're going to work in the summer.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's where they're going to step up now, isn't it? This is where they're really going to step up now. They're keen for the badge.
17 cup finals, right? I didn't play many. I played rugby, but I played in 2, and my work rate was about 25% more in the cup final with 500-600 people watching me. Let me tell you, than it was with 5. So you've got to treat every game like a cup final, haven't you?
Yeah. So we'll come on to transfers and that in a second. Score predictions, obviously, if we get some players in, great or not. Gavin, what's your score prediction?
1-0 home win.
Yeah. Andy? Yeah, okay.
2
Harvey?
each.
Goalless draw.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Carl?
2-1 Argyle.
Glory.
And Marcus?
3-1 to us.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
And also, De Wolf is standing by Muslik.
De Wolf. Yes, we'll come on to Andy's posts in a second. I'm going to go 2-0. I alluded to at the start. I put a bet on that on Bet365. I don't condone betting. I don't do it often because I don't win often. So just bet responsibly, just to point out. But so obviously when we then went 1-0, I was like, and I didn't even look. Well, couldn't react in 4 minutes to cash out. I was so excited that we scored, I completely forgot. And then obviously I just looked at it, and when they went 2-1 up, I thought, I think we'll get a point here. So I had £5 credit still, put that on us to get a draw and won 50 quid. So that pleased me at the end.
So Mike
my first win on a bet because I'm rubbish at that. So yes, as Carl has started, or Sophia in the background is trying to get him ready for the next clip. So,
Wait,
see,
just love kids.
Sophie's in the background. She's just chilling out. This is a professional production, clearly. So, hey, that's child abuse, Carl. Live.
There's no social services watching.
Oh dear.
Brilliant. Right, yeah. So transfer targets and all that jazz. So I made a video earlier, rough and ready one, which is why Carl was or Sophia was trying to pick his hood up. So let's run that quickly as we go on to discuss this. Oh God! Right, hang on. I've got to go back to my slide deck now. So, like I said, quality production's going on here. So, in fact, we were just talking about it actually in terms of transfers of backroom staff. Eddie Lattimore, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's the fitness coach. Yeah. Yeah,
and he is. But yeah, he's the head of.
Sorry, yeah, of course, yeah, I remember him saying that. Yeah, and Adin Osman Basic.
Spot on, Michael.
Sorry.
Well pronounced.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Then I got one right. So these. What is Adin's role?
Assistant manager, isn't it?
Yeah, assistant head coach.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got obviously Andy mentioning it with his post with DeWolf and all this sort of stuff going on. So let me clip to that. There we go. So this is where in amongst all the negative, and we get it, frustrations of what's going on, who we sign and who we not signing. Andy decided, we were chatting in the WhatsApp group and went, "Oh, go and pick something out for a bit of fun." And Andy did it with his one on the left there. Couple of comments where people enjoyed just the banter from that. Some people taking it very seriously, and getting a bit annoyed at the end. Look, it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to bring some humour to what is a frustrating, sort of time for Argyle, because we don't know what we got to spend, what transfers are we looking at. Obviously, some dropping out, which the guy, second image in from the left, did pull out in the end. But Andy, do you want to apologise for your antics?
Do you know, I will put my hands up, and I would apologise, but I will say that if you look down at the bottom there where it says Eddie at the ready, and I talked about Coach Eddie Lattimore on the 20th of January, right? And when did he sign? 22nd?
In the know.
23rd?
In the know.
In the know. Who's your source?
Andy.
ChatGPT.
My sauce was chili sauce.
Oh, dear.
And
chili oil.
But
yeah, do you know what?
We
It
all
was
know
such a week.
Abby's going to turn up.
Yeah, he probably will. It was such a torrid week for us as fans, wasn't it? Because we lost to QPR, and then that horrible week in midweek. We just need something like gallows humour to sort of bring the cheer up a little bit. And I sort of thought, right, stick these rumours out there, see what happens. I just put it on as a one-off.
But you upset everybody on X.
No, not everybody. He had some funny comments.
But a lot of people, do you know what? A lot of people do this, right, at this time of the year. It's all about conjecture. It's all about rumour and stuff like that, isn't it? And I thought, well, why not jump on the bandwagon? And,
I did.
Very much.
God, it's all for shits and giggles. The sort of, for me, obviously, I made some Mr. Bean ones. As I always post Mr. Bean to a lot of things just for a bit of fun. But yeah, well, I know. I mean, it wasn't as creative as yours, Andy. It took clearly too much time. I tell you what was funny though, and I won't mention who fell for it. But the Land Rover post that I put up, that was, I mean, I've got some basic Photoshop skills, but the fact that fooled some people made me chuckle. But for those that don't know, that whole sort of gag that come about when we did our TikTok live, Carl and I, from transfer deadline day at Home Park last summer, and then there was this random black Range Rover that turned up. Obviously, we're all expecting Beidou. Could he be a last-minute sign-in? And that all got spread around quickly on X. So hence why I did it. But the person who DM'd me, who I talked to a lot, and he was like, "Who is it then?" And I'm like, "What you on about?" And who is it? Your Land Rover post. And I went, "You are joking, right?" And he went, "What?" I went, "Look at the number plate." And then he just came back and said, "Don't mention this ever again."
So in front of 50 million people now.
Yeah, exactly. It was because I picked TCP, the Crazy Pilgrim, PAFC, which was clearly like erased and typed on the number plate. But look, it's just all a little bit of fun. But on a serious note of transfers, Harvey, come to you. Who do you think, I can see, I can't pronounce his name. The image far to the right is another one that was linked the other day to us. What are you seeing and what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit different with me. I never normally read into it because I don't like the mystery of the if buts and maybes. I just sort of wait to hear from the club and when I hear things, rumours, I'm like, yeah, he'd be all right. Yeah, I'd like him. But I think the foundations are is that we definitely need at least another centre half or two come in through the door, and possibly another striker, a clinical goal scoring striker. And I've heard talks of the Notts County fella for
Jetta.
Yeah, millions. So it's like I said, it's all rumours. It's a bit of fun. But it does stress me out seeing it all and seeing all the players which we could have or that are coming in. Because if you read into everything, Argyle would have a squad list of about 200 by now. So yeah. Just
I think what would be nice though is to have a striker join the club who's high in confidence.
Yeah.
Even if it's from League Two.
Yeah.
Because when you're in front of goal, you're in front of goal, no matter whether you're playing in the Bernabeu or
It's the same size goal in any league.
Yeah.
So if you know where the goal is,
it'd be nice to we've clearly got some great crosses at the ball. Saranola, Pusac, Bundu's cross for the
and he's a big boy. He's a big boy as well.
Incredible. We need, if we've got a striker there who knows where the back of the net is and is high in confidence, it's going to make a hell of a bloody difference, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no. Look, I think that it's difficult because we're all wanting things to happen, and actually, it's just reminded me, Gavin. We were talking about it before we literally just before we went live. If I go back to and it leads me on really in a second to the Andy Parkinson interview, which I need to be held to account by someone that hides behind another account. But anyway, it's one of those where. Gavin, you just go for it because you brought up the point in terms of negotiating buyout clauses and all this sort of stuff.
Well, for the backroom team.
Yeah, well, and correct.
I think any transfer's got a degree of complexity, isn't it? I think that people get excited because we only brought the two backroom teaming guys 8 days after Muslic arrived. I think it's taking the piss, quite frankly. You can't expect another club to just hand over two of their key coaching staff with no notice, no compensation. You can't expect guys to move from Belgium to Plymouth, even though there probably is a ferry link, quite easy, as back of a car, and say to the wife, I'm just popping for a pint of milk, but that pint of milk's in, Dove's stores in Plymouth, I'm off. You can't, you just don't do it. So I think 8 days has been bloody good going, in fairness, to get that team over. And I think we're on for hiding to nothing with our transfer policy. And Andy Parkinson made it very clear we are not going to overpay for. And I think he made the whole statement was probably aimed at clubs and agents more than anything else because of the timing of it. But you don't go into a negotiation going, well, we're desperate, we're going to overpay.
Yeah.
No,
that's a slippery slope.
That causes errors, doesn't it? That causes, that could be the start of a downfall of stuff you just don't know. So yeah, I agree. There's no point risking it.
Oh, hang on a minute. Just someone Carl knows is just asking about the Notts County striker, which Harvey, you just brought up. We don't know yet, but obviously because everything's rumours, we can only hope. But we just alluded to the fact, Nigel, that if we can get at least, even if it's a League Two, someone that knows where the goal is, can find it. At the end of the day, that the goal's the same size as Carl Pitt. At
the end of the day, we've got one eye on next season as well, because the odds of us going down are still quite large. So I think even a striker of his caliber in League One, I think that's going to be beneficial. He looks a big boy. He knows where the net, knows where the goal is, and I think that could be beneficial to us with the crosses we can get into him as well. Because Hardy's not going to get on the end of many, is he? So let's be honest.
No.
Lovely boy.
So I'll come on nicely to this and just and I'll pick up on that. Let me just change. Let's go to the group one on the Andy Parkinson. So I've gone to a courtroom because, Your Honour, I need to be held accountable for my own views, freedom of speech, and all that jazz. So look, I watched the interview. Am I naive and stupid enough to think that he's interviewed by Charlie and Charlie reports to him he's not going to come out of anything challenging? Of course, I absolutely get that. I felt that the communication, I'll just state overall, does need to improve. The buck stops with any CEO in any business, and I think Andy, and I've questioned it as well, has come under a lot of pressure. He's made some decisions with Simon Hallett to get rid of Jewsnip, change some of the backroom staff. He's obviously been part of, as you would expect, the appointments. So for me, it was listening to it. It was just like, do you know what? That's fair enough. I can accept that, But we do know that obviously there's been a lot of issues, a lot of poor decisions, and he sort of alluded to that. And do they go in and deliberately want to make a bad decision? Of course they don't. In any business, I mean, the place that I work at is a massive business now, but we don't get everything right, So it's one of those where everything is a risk, whatever you decide to do in business. The point that I was sort of called out on was I just felt that fans wrongly judge certain things. And what I meant by that is, and I thought I'd leave it to the pod to do this, and I said that on in the replies, is it was the backroom staff that we just talked about. So, I mean, Carl, I hope you don't mind me saying, Carl was like, Tony Mowbray's got all his guys in, and look at the announcement immediately. He's got all his backroom staff, and others were getting, frustrated on the social channels as well, because of the Foster situation, because of Rooney not coming in with anybody. And what Parkinson actually alluded to in the recording was the fact that Mueslich wanted to wait until he had come over to see, what the setup was like, get to really know the people there. Obviously, he had a brief chat with Nance and Edwards, but he wanted to get in there and see how the land lied. And as Gavin alluded to, there's also all sorts of stuff in the background that just complicates or just adds complications, to bringing people over. And so I just felt that was something that, was wrong to sort of like accuse the club of not sorting out, because as with everything, we don't run the club. We're not investors in the club, unless there's any that are watching this, obviously, of course. Yes, it's a public limited company, but as that person, forget his name, pointed out, it doesn't mean that they have to sit there and by law, they've got to tell us, the public, what's gone wrong and all this lot. Only the shareholders. That's all they have to answer to, or Andy does, is the shareholders. That's how that works. So, I mean, sort of Gavin, obviously you've alluded to bits from it. How did you see that interview overall?
I thought probably 25-30% of it was pretty corporate spiel.
Yeah.
And he's an Olympic athlete at corporate spiel. I'll happily say that to his face when I see him in corporate, but he is. He's very good at it. Not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing for a CEO to have. I think the timing was interesting. I think the timing was, being cynical, was probably aimed more at agents than it was anything else, to say, look, even if you do come and join us and we go down, we've got a nice big budget next year and we're going to bully the league. So come and have a chat. So I think that was an interesting part. The investment part, I suppose, was where I probably got a bit more comfort in terms of what I do for a living and getting company investment, was fair. I think Simon jumped the gun when he was sat having a pint and a pasty down in deepest, darkest Cornwall in December. And there's two separate things there. One is, I think when he said, is this cohort of investors going to be the ones that eventually take over the club? I don't think that was meant in a way of, are they going to invest or not? I think that was in a way of, are they going to be in a position to take over? And chaps, just to sort of give a bit of wider depth on this, when I spoke to Simon on this, I did a podcast with him a couple of years ago. His view was he wanted an investor to come in at 25% to start with, which was Argyle Green, to see how they got on. They didn't get on very well because they wanted different things. They left again. The next part of that then was to have someone in at 49%, so he remained in control, and then eventually 75%. What he's always wanted to do, and he's made no secret of this, he's always wanted to be the chairman of the club. Right now, investor consortiums very, very rarely invest into a business of any size, shape or form, and they normally insist on two things: their own chairman and their own CFO. So someone to look after the day-to-day cash to make sure that money's not being pissed up the wall on silly squanderous things and that the business plan is being stuck to, and a chairman to guide the ship. Now, if you're wanting to put 20 odd million quid into a business and the current chairman says you can have new shares, because it won't be buying Simon shares, it'll be buying new shares to make sure the money sits in the balance sheet of the company, then it's pretty difficult to say, well, I'll throw this money at it, but I'm not going to have overall control, and I'm also not going to have a chairman to rule the roost. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, is trying to find that needle in a haystack investor that will say, okay, for the first 2 years or 18 months, we'll put the money in, we'll advise the board, but we're not going to have control. And I think that's the biggest challenge here. For all of this, and that's probably why it's taken a lot longer. And Andy said it in the video, and Simon's also said it on numerous interviews, including the one with John Akers the other morning. Hello, John, if you're listening. Is, are they going to allow a chairman who's run a club very well, let's be candid about it, to continue running the club when they put £20 million of their own cash in? Unlikely.
Yeah, and I think, sort of it was good. Thanks, Gavin, for that, because Gavin is the only one that we know of that's qualified to give some insights into that. I've seen a lot myself with Chris Dawson at the Range over these last 20 years with all the stuff that we've done, the home-based stuff recently. These and that has gone on. That had taken a lot of time to get over the line, longer than a lot of people realise. These things are not quick and easy. And I think, as a fan, that Simon Hallett, as we know, when you own your own football club and you've had a bit of success, it is hard to let go. But like Gavin's right, it's a needle in the haystack investor that you're looking for that will still let you stay on as chairman while playing with their cash, so to speak. Infrastructure, as Carl's put up in our group chat, I've tried to explain this. Yes, you can go out there and throw cash, as Andy said, at players. We're not going to do that. Investing in all these projects which take years, all the planning and stuff to get them signed off in the first place. They don't just wake up, and I don't mean this to sound arrogant to anybody out there, but they don't just wake up and go.
Well, it's not arrogant. It's a fact. These things take a long time.
Well, no, they do. But what I'm saying is, I think some people just think, well, they agreed to set up that academy 6 months ago. What a waste of time and money. So yeah, go on, Carl. What's your?
Well, no, you carry on with your point. I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I was leading to you anyway. Okay. But the infrastructure piece is, as Andy put it, will put us in good stead.
Yeah,
if we go down.
You can never please everybody. I mean, this project would have got off the wall 3-4 years ago when we were in League Two, probably. So that was probably the perfect chance to get the ball rolling on the future and the infrastructure, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the here and now, it's about the future as well. And if you want to progress and be a stable championship club and, bring on our youth products and sell them on for, hopefully bigger profits than we did with Cooper and maybe Whittaker. But it's a massive part of the future, and it had to be done. And if we invested in the squad back then and not the infrastructure, then you would have had the fan base coming out and saying, why are you not planning for the future? You can never please every single fan.
The analogy I always like to use on this is actually a different sport, but it's Exeter Rugby Club.
Yeah.
So Albion and Exeter, many moons ago, those who remember, were both vying to get into the Premier League. Albion spent a ton of money on players and put some temporary stands off at Brickfields. Exeter spent not much money on players and committed to doing Sandy Park. Bristol ended up going up that year because they had a bit of both, and I think the early throes of the money that's come in for them now, which also owns the football club. Wind the clock forward 8-9 years later, Albion were a league below where they were at that time, and Exeter were European champions. Why? Because they got the infrastructure right. They got a good ground, good training base, did all the things, and Tony Rathel he's not a gazillionaire, is he? Let's be candid. But they did it the right way, and they built a club up from infrastructure upwards. Yeah. And their revenues on non-match day now is better than probably any sports club in the Southwest. And that gives them the playing budget to do what they need to do. It's not rocket science, and I know it's not. The average football fan's got the patience of a gnat, and they want a gazillion quid on a striker tomorrow. I think we all want that, but down this part of the world, we've normally been a little bit more patient, haven't we, than other clubs, because we've had to be. And I think now we're going to have 2 or 3 years time an infrastructure product that's going to be something to be proud of. We can have a Cat B academy, which means we can have players stay longer in our structure and not go 18s cast away to Truro or to Torquay. They can stay in that under 22, under 23s league with a Cat B academy and actually earn their salt and then be around and available a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also an attraction to players that want to come to the club to know that they've got something in place, which is good. It's wholesome. It's there. It's in place. They've got a good academy. So if you're a youngster playing in Cornwall, that Argyle have got a good academy. You want to go and play for
Andy
Argyle
said in his thing the other day that we actually be able to start bidding now for young players. When we have a good academy in play, we can get an academy player from Swansea, or we can get an academy player from Oxford, and we can bid to have them down here in our infrastructure. At the moment, they're playing in 4 different places and spent most of their time on a bloody minibus.
We did
and those led up the road have done well with their academy recently.
Yeah, I mean, Harvey, sort of coming to you, I think the sort of the issue at times with this, and like everybody's got their opinions, and I don't mind people sort of moaning at me or calling me out for certain things, because as I said, I'll come on here and give my views, because I'm a boring git. But Harvey, I think this is the problem, isn't it? Is that it's so easy, and I've said this many a times on these pods, since we've done them, and that is, when you're looking from the outside in, it's so easy to judge, and just think that because you know a bit about football, or you might have played it, it's totally different when you're running a business. And there's some out there that have done that and got their own businesses and done it successfully, absolutely. But it is so easy to look on the outside in and judge. And certainly when you've got a concoction of poor results, getting rid of Rooney, so losing our manager again going into the January window, not, people getting impatient, myself included, but over getting Miron Muslic appointed and announced, but they still did that in a very structured and well thought out process, as Andy laid out. But it does just all of that and being rock bottom and wanting, like, we don't want to go down. Of course we don't. It just, everybody is just on edge, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think this is the beautiful thing about football and about sports in general, is that it's opinion based, isn't it? You're never gonna, very rare you're gonna get 100 people in the room and they all agree on the exact same thing, without any changes. And I think that's also the beauty of this podcast. Obviously, me being a bit younger and my views possibly a little bit different, but I do see both sides of the story. I think personally of myself, I think that it would be nice to have the expenditure to go push it all on players, but I can also understand the risks of that, the risks of going down, and it's apparent in our history with our funds, and we know that what can happen if we are stupid with money. But I think that you can understand, from my perspective, you can understand both sides of the stick. And so I'm just sitting in your background now, trying to give a straight face. You can understand both sides of the story, and it's luxuries that could have come apparent to us, which we haven't seen before, having an academy which are challenged with Exeter up the road, who have had better products, having facilities for the players, which in the past they've had to use margins, or they've had to travel elsewhere to be able to use the facilities that are coming our way. So yeah, I think it's you can see both sides of the story.
Yeah, it's just, look, the one thing that we can all say is that, sort of, and if Simon, was on here or whatever, would say the same, like, he's trying to do everything that's best for the club, with all the pressure of the outside noise. You've got to block it, go with what your process is, whether or not everybody agrees with it or not, but do that. He did, and he did mention data again, and that did make me chuckle, because that's caused a bit of a stir. And we do know that he did, the only football professionals he consulted for advice was Nance, but look, they wanted to get a manager in because the situation that we were in, so they were by no means wanting to sort of make the wrong call, and time will tell. And if we go down, I think Miron Muslic is one that actually would really put in a good stable squad together and could get us back up there. So yeah, look, it's all good fun and banter, but yeah, certainly one thing I am not, and that is boring. I did take proper offence to that, Nick. Thank you, but no, it's all good. It's all good. So right, I think we're coming to the end now. So I just want to do a little plug. So I did a little crappy, pull together just before we went live, actually, just to show you where we are as a Block 9 podcast. So, yeah, top left on YouTube at Block 9 podcast. So you can go back if you want to watch this. If you missed out on the start and my brilliant little intro, then you can do that. The same, obviously, we have the X account, we have the Facebook account, and we also have the Blue Sky. As a few people have migrated or transitioned from X to that.
Hopefully they'll allow a video on that platform soon. I'm surprised they haven't yet.
We'll see on that. We'll
Yeah.
see on that. Absolutely. And also, I don't think the stream worked for whatever reason, but Harvey has got his YouTube channel. I thought I'd put that as a little plug for you, Harvey. You didn't know that was
You're
coming.
not
But
subscribed. You're not.
no, hang on.
Michael.
No, yes, good spot.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Harvey, I subscribe, mate.
Because
don't
I
worry.
think
Harvey, I
that's.
wouldn't even come on again, mate. I wouldn't even come on again.
Hang on, let me get my
that's-
doc image. But let me get my doc image back up again.
That's
So-
got Argyle memes written all over this one.
Yeah, probably has. Yeah, he'll get me back for that. No, I've got about 4 accounts because of my sons as well. So
That old chestnut, Harv.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's fine.
It is.
You must feel really important now, Harv.
Yeah, don't worry.
So
about
on
it,
that
mate.
bombshell,
Good on,
so yes,
Oh, crikey.
I apologise, but so there's no getting away with that one, is there? So well, this is what happens when you do things last minute after working on this for 2 hours last night as well. So
well done, mate. Well done.
Give me a break. Give me a break. But yeah, no. So look, just a shout out to those who give us a like and subscribe where you can. But yeah, look, everybody, bit of positivity, which is great for once from all the doom and gloom recently. So yeah, won't sort of go for any final thoughts. I think we'll just call it at that, and then we can all crack on with our evenings. But Gavin, Andy, Harvey, Carl, and Marcus, thanks for joining us again tonight. And yeah, let's see what West Brom brings, and hopefully we'll have another positive show on Sunday as well. Yeah,
100%.
see you later, folks.
Cheers, guys.
All the best.
Go and
Yeah,
get
guys.
subscribed to Harvey, Mike.
Thanks for looking at
Thank you, Carl.